Looking for these better days.
It is Thursday, September 4th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Happy New Year. End of story. Jared Smith joins me here on this episode of Better Day. I feel like, Jared, it's Christmas morning, it's New Year's, it's every holiday into one because the NFL season officially kicks off tonight.
Yeah, so we're not excited that we get more. What is it? I think James Madison plays Friday night football. Like, we're not excited about those games. It's just the
Listen,
NFL
don't hate
where,
on the Dukes. I actually like them with the points this weekend. So
yeah,
we can talk about that for sure.
yeah,
That's
we can
maybe for
figure that
tomorrow's
out maybe
episode.
on tomorrow's pod. But yeah, no, obviously this is and it's kind of funny because last week we were prepping for a full week of college football and we didn't have the NFL, but this week doing the college football prep, it's like this. All right, I don't want to when you go to the restaurant and they come out with the bread, I don't want to fill up on bread because we have the NFL coming and it's
Mhm.
so just it's a very and the next couple weeks it is fast and furious. Like I understand there's a FOMO element to this where you just want to bet on everything because it's awesome and it's back and we love it. But you just have to. I honestly think even people who listen to shows like this and who are very disciplined with their bankrolls and know how to gamble, they struggle with it this week because of the emotional element involved with football being back. So we're very excited, but we also have to keep our wits about us as we navigate through these gambling waters.
100%. By the way, when I was in high school, we used to go to this all-you-can-eat ribs place. Shout out Big Ed's Ribs in Old Bridge, New Jersey,
Nice.
because they had the best garlic bread you will
Oh yeah.
ever have. The garlic rolls were out of this world, and you literally had to fight yourself from eating the garlic rolls because they wanted you to fill up on the rolls so you
Of
didn't eat
course.
all the ribs. That was their
100%.
goal. And
They're
and
very,
and you
very
just had to
smart.
they were so good, but you just had to fight yourself to they want you to take the roles. You had to fight that. Shout out if you know where that's from. You and I could be best friends if you do know where that reference is from. But anyway, let's get into the NFL tonight. The line movements have been fascinating. Mackenzie and I talked about this on yesterday's pod, Jared, that the reason for the line movement, and we can talk about, teaser protection all we want from the sports books, but the reality is limits opened up this week, right?
Yep.
And so, with limits opening up as we are in the week of the games, you're going to see line movement. And it wasn't just tonight's game between the Eagles and the Cowboys. We saw line movement across the board, but yes, significant movement in this Eagles game. Philly went up to as high as 9 before settling
Mm.
back down in at 8. And you look across the board right now, and and everywhere you look, you're gonna see 8.5s. You're gonna see the 8s flat. So obviously shop around because lines will move as we get closer and closer to kickoff here. What's your take on the movement that we saw happen yesterday here on this game?
I mean, we talked about it. It had only one way to move,
Hmm.
based off of the news and the narrative. Now, to your point, the limits expanding is not public movement. I would expect if there was going to be at most a half point of, oh my God, we are getting an insane flood of Eagles money. It's probably not going to come until game day right before kick, like 3 to 6 hours before. You might see some of that exposure start to well up and you might see, and it might not even be a line move. It might just be an odds move. You go from minus 110 to maybe minus $1.20, depending on,
Hmm.
which sports book. I know certain sports books just stay on the number, but you also have this odd thing of all the promos, and you get a lot of the sports books. Like there's a couple in town. I know Westgate is 8 cents, and I know BetMGM. I actually heard that BetMGM is going to go to 5 cent splits on Thursday Night Football, and then an hour before the game, they're going to go to minus 102. How about that?
Wow.
Crazy stuff. And yeah, I just heard that because I do some work with BetMGM promotionally, and I heard that every Thursday night this year, an hour before kickoff, they're going to go to, and I don't know if it's sides, totals, and props. Probably not. It's probably just sides, maybe totals. 2 cents on both sides. And that's where you get these weird game day moves because of, it's everyone's betting one game,
Yeah.
and the public will have their say. So Yeah, I think 8.5 feels like the peak here. I just, and the teaser protection stuff. No one's betting teasers anymore because of how absurd the prices are. So
Mhm.
I think it's just about how the public and frankly how maybe some of the sharp bettors feel about these two teams.
Can I interest you in taking the points with Dallas? It
You
feels
have
like
to.
all
That's
the
the only way to play the game from a spread perspective.
yeah, I
But
mean, I
I
feel like
think,
all the
as we've discussed on
conversation
prior shows, there's better ways to bet this week
yeah,
and this game.
I would agree, but I just feel like all the conversation's been on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like everything's been negative about the Cowboys losing Micah Parsons. Yes, how that defense is going to survive without him and what this offense is going to look like with the lack of a running game. So it's all been negative about the Cowboys. It just feels like nobody has any interest in playing them, but I mean, 8.5 is a lot of points in an NFL game. 8.5 is a lot of points in a divisional NFL game. So, a couple of trends that we have here, and I provided this to Steve Fezzik earlier, so he had sent this out. But this is something that we wrote up on BetterDay.com when it comes to Week 1 NFL trends. And Jared, I know you've been on this as well. When you look at divisional games in week 1 of the NFL season, and specifically with the divisional dogs here, divisional dogs in week 1 since 2021. I always use that as the reference because we can go back to 2012, but the whole league changed post COVID and the new schedule, right? 3 preseason games, 17 regular season games. So division dogs 11-8 against the spread in week number 1. Divisional games going under at a 13-6 clip. Now that doesn't surprise me because unders in general just go in week number 1. We are 39-25 to the under here in week number 1. But underdogs in general, 37-27 ATS. Division dogs, as I mentioned, 11-8. Division unders, 13-6. So
Hmm.
you look at this number now, 47.5. There is a 48 in the market. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to 48 by the time we hit the kickoff across the board coming up
Yep.
here tonight. But it just feels like Cowboys plus the points and the under might be the sharp way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's you probably can say that about almost every line this weekend.
Yeah.
Um, Divisional on like week one's tough. It just is. I know, cliche, really sharp analysis, Jared. Um, everyone's been kind of sitting on these lines for months, and
Hmm.
we'll see what happens on Friday. And we saw this with college football last week. All of a sudden, limits open, and then Texas is a favorite for like a hot minute. Now that was the wrong side. Maybe not. I think, in a normal scenario where Arch doesn't piss down his leg, I think Texas probably wins that game. But you just don't know what's going to happen on Friday when these limits open up.
Yeah.
And even into really, I would say into Saturday, really overnight into Sunday morning, and then things just get haywire. So it'll be fun. I think the obvious answer is, oh yeah, sharp to take points. But then when the Eagles are up 2 scores and Dak's chasing the game and Saquon's running up and down the field because Dallas's defense is quitting, then you're gonna you wish you were on the
Yeah.
Eagles teaser or the money line parlay leg, which is the square part of the market. But it's just you just don't know. I think this handicap is really tough because I just don't know what Dallas's mindset is after the Parsons trade. It is rare. I can't even recall the last time a player of that caliber in the NFL was traded. I know it just happened in the NBA, but the NBA is different. In the
Yeah.
NFL, a player of that caliber does not get traded very often. What is the psyche of the Cowboys locker room? How much starch does their defense have? And are they going to be able to hold up against a physical Philly team that's going to want to smash mouth you all night? I just don't know the answer to that question right now.
Well, my selection, and I gave this out weeks ago when we did our work on the preseason and quarterbacks not playing in the preseason. And I know you have a bet on this game as it relates to quarterbacks not playing in the preseason as well. But the data that we have, and the article is up on betterday.com. If you haven't read it already, go ahead and read that article. It's about how snaps in the preseason and dropbacks, they matter in the regular season. And we looked at all of the starting quarterbacks in week number 1. 128 starting quarterbacks in week number 1 since the start of the 2021 season. Of them, only 39 did not take a single preseason drop back in that preseason heading into the regular season. And all of those quarterbacks, on average, in their first game, week number 1 of the NFL season, they didn't cover the spread, a negative 2.55 ATS margin. Their team totals went under by 3.2 points per game. The games went under by 4 points per game. The first half ATS margin was negative 1.92. The first half team totals went under by 1.76, and the first half totals just went under by 1.6 points. Now, in this game, we have two quarterbacks that didn't attempt to drop back in the preseason in Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. And so my play is on the first half under 24 is the best number that's available right now in the market. That is at Circa. And shop around because there's mostly 23 and a halves, but there will be 24s on the board. As I mentioned, Circa right now does have a 24. I'd rather have the 24 than the 23 and a half, but I'm going first half under tonight as my best bet for the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's how I would play it. I think the Jalen Hurts passing yards prop to me offers more value than the Prescott one because we just don't know if Dak's going to be chasing the game. I don't think Jalen's going to be chasing the game. The
And right now we're
odds
seeing that passing yardage is at,
214,
let's
I
see,
think.
it's down now up on FanDuel at 212 and a half. So obviously
Mhm.
shop around, but a
Yeah.
212 to 214 in that range. Jared, you are going under Jalen Hurts passing yards.
Yeah, I got a 215 last week. I wrote it up for my lineup. I do articles for lineups.com. I wrote it up for them. Under the same umbrella of what we're talking about here.
Yep.
It's just you just these quarterbacks tend to go under. And also the game script to me is an under, period, especially with Philly. If I was the Eagles and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown haven't played in the preseason. Jalen Hurts hasn't played in the preseason. I'm looking to pound the rock against a defense that I think is soft in the middle and off the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's to me the strategy tonight. And that lends to a quarterback under. In addition to the fact that Hurts and these quarterbacks on the no-show list have tended to go under, I think there is a legit game script matchup strategy reason to bet the under even without that element. So yeah, I would be surprised tonight if Jalen cracked the 200 mark.
I love it that you call it the no-show list. It makes me think of Shorzy, the no-show. The no-shows.
I'm totally coining no-show list because now it's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, we put it out there a bunch. You had some great notes on it.
Yeah.
Mackenzie's been all over it. I've had a couple people reach out to me say it was a really unique angle. That's what you're trying to find here, guys. Everyone can do a podcast and say, yeah, the Eagles are really good and the Cowboys lost Micah Parsons. That's great. Everyone knows that information. What information do you have that maybe isn't fully baked into the market that you can exploit? That's what we're looking for.
Now, here's what we're going to do. We did this last year, Mackenzie and I, on our previous pod for the primetime games. So we did this for the Thursday night games and the Monday night games. We construct a same game parlay. Now, here's the deal. And I'm just going to throw it out there for you guys, the audience. Same game parlays are designed for you all to lose your money. Okay? They're extremely attractive. The sports books will promote the hell out of them, but overall, it's a losing proposition. However, I do think it's attackable. I do think there are ways that you can certainly profit off of same game parlays. One theory or one premise is something that we've talked about before, which is the anti-correlated parlays. See, this is where you can trick the sportsbook algorithm into giving you a jacked out payout on two aspects that they consider to be negatively correlated. For instance, you bet a receiver to go over his receiving yards, but under his receptions. You know, if
Yeah.
you're taking a guy that's like, oh, well, he's only a deep threat, right? He's only going to catch that one bomb down the field or two bombs. So we go under 2.5 receptions, but over the 55 yards or whatever it is. That's negatively correlated. The sportsbook doesn't think that both of those things can happen at the same time. And so you're going to get a jacked up payout on these things. So my first, I guess, piece of advice to the audience would be careful when you're doing these same game parlays. They all look good. They all feel good, but you're not getting the best payout all the time. They know what they're doing, these books. So sometimes you're better off just betting these props individually. If you like 3 props that you want to put in the same game parlay, just bet all 3 props individually and shop around for different books to get the best number on all 3 of those props. Because if you go 2-1, you're still going to make a little bit of profit. As opposed to if you go 2-1 in your same game parlay, probably playing worse numbers than you can find in any other book in the market. and then you're not going to get the true payout of what your parlay would pay if you just parlayed those legs individually, if they were just games and not props. So, all that being said, Jared, let's cook up a same game parlay. Uh, so I- I'm going to use. I'm going to
Are you
use our
okay?
two.
Take a breath. You're okay.
I'm going to use our two because I think it's funny. I'm like saying don't do it, but I'm saying let's do it. It is fun. Let's use our two best bets as the first two legs. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to use FanDuel Sportsbook for this because they've been good to the pod. And also, they have rogue numbers on first halves, which is
They
fantastic.
do
FanDuel
actually.
Sportsbook right now has 24 and a half for the first half total. It is
Wow.
24 at circa and 23 and a half the rest of the
That's a
market.
really good number.
They have 24 and a half. So play FanDuel under 24 and a half in the first half.
That's more than half of the actual total in the game.
Yes. It's
That's
unbelievable.
crazy.
It's unbelievable. I had this on
Usually
my
they shaded a point because the second half typically has more scoring than the first half.
Jared, I was on the air on VSiN on Saturday night during the Miami or Sunday night, the Miami game against Notre Dame. And my best bet was on the first half under, which we cashed.
Yeah.
However, there was, I think it was 20, it was, we talked about the rain and the possibility of rain going in that game, right? Every sports book in Vegas had that total in the first half at 24. Okay. Every book had it at 24. FanDuel had it at 25, 26 and a half. I screamed to the audience to play the under 26 and a half.
Man.
While I'm on the air, it moves down to 25 and a half. So people were obviously listening. It still went off at 25 and a half. Now you cashed the under 24 anyway, but still, we're talking about 2.5 points off the market, 1.5 off the market. You got to take advantage of this stuff. And right now, I'm telling you, my best bet is on under 24. That's the best number I can get here in Vegas. It's 23 and a half at the most books here in town. However, FanDuel's giving you a 24 and a half.
Do you want to hear something fun? You actually can get it in town because Boyd uses FanDuel's numbers.
Are we sure? Because sometimes
I'm going there right now, and if it is, I'm betting it right now at this exact moment.
Good, because sometimes it varies by state.
Yeah, you're right. It's 24.
I've had people
minus $1.20 at Boyd. That's weird.
Yeah, I've had people tell me sometimes where it's like, hey, I'm in Jersey and this number's at 24, but then it's like someone in Arizona is like, hey, what do you mean? I got it at 24 and a half. So,
but it's a better price at Circa. Circa really is the best. Hold on, maybe have you been to this new book, Boomers? It's very fun.
I have not, but I heard they have a good promo. So, hey, if you are in Vegas, there is a new sports book. It's where, Jared? Ellis Island?
Yeah.
Ellis
Which is
Island.
actually a
So
good
Ellis
spot.
Island.
They have $5 craps. Although I don't know if they have $5 craps anymore because when I went there to sign up for Boomers and I went to play craps, it was 10. I didn't see the $5 table. It might just be certain nights they have $5 craps. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't
They
been
used
there.
to have it because I used to play craps there. No, it's 23 and a half minus $1.05 at Boomers.
Okay.
Sometimes you get a rogue number at Win too.
They renovated the whole place there at Ellis Island.
Yes,
and
it looks much nicer. That's probably why it's more expensive craps now.
But I did hear about this.
24 minus $1.15 at Win. Circa's the best price in market.
Okay. Tell me about the sign-up bonus, though, at Boomers. You get like a $250
It's a 250, excuse me, 250 in credit, but it's like a rollover credit. So it's like a rebate on each bet. You get a certain amount of your stake back.
Okay.
So like, I don't know the exact number, but let's say you're betting $100. You're really only betting like 80 or something. Like, and the bonus is like the rollover, and it just credits your account on each individual bet you make. So it's not like you get like a free bet, because usually when I get those free bets, I'm firing on something. One shot, boom, let's make a score. But this is, you have to bet. So they kind of rigged it a little bit to where you might have to roll it over a little bit, but it's still a good deal. I mean, it's still free money.
All right. I might have to check that out when
you should go over there.
Well, I'm driving to Circa today to sign up for the contests, and so then I will have to maybe check out Ellis Island on the way back.
I just bet the first half under 24 minus $1.15, so I'm in on that with you. I'm in on the Jalen Hurts prop. Those are the two. I think those are the two legs I like the most for sure.
Okay, so just those two legs. And the Jalen Hurts prop, for full disclosure, when I'm building this same game parlay now up on FanDuel, it's at 212.5. We're still going to play. We're still going to build out this hypothetical same game parlay here. So Jalen Hurts under 212.5 passing yards, under 24.5 for the first half total. That is plus 175. What is the next thing that you would like to add into this same game parlay, Jared, that you think, and hey, maybe it's negatively correlated and we can
I
jack up
have
this
one.
payout?
I have
Okay.
one. What is the quarterback rushing prop for Dak Prescott to the over?
Are you staring at my screen?
No,
Are you
I'm
looking at my
not.
screen?
I'm
Are you?
not.
I'm not sharing the screen with you right now, right?
No, you're not.
I literally have Dak Prescott over 7.5 rushing yards in the same
Because
game
that
parlay
is
tab
a
right now.
negative prop for Dak, but it's positive in terms of the correlation that we're gonna get with the like. To me, like if Dak's running for his life, it's good for the under, right? But
Hmm.
it's bad for an under on a total because we're going
Yes,
over in yards. But it's really
which is
not if you
why,
think about it.
the payout goes from plus 175 to plus 409.
Yeah,
This is our base. This is our same game parlay. Now, this is what Mac and I did this last year, and so I'm going to do it again this year because the fans seem to really like it. We give you a base same game parlay, and then we do the little sprinkle, the little fun little, Fez called it the weekend in the Hamptons last year,
yeah, the
where
pizza
it was
bet,
like, hey, yeah, yeah, Mitch and Paulie call it the pizza bet. I
pizza
mentioned it
bet,
before. We call it the Starbucks bet, the whatever. Let's have some fun
whatever.
with it. So our base parlay, let's go over it right now. Our base same game parlay for tonight, Jalen Hurts under 212.5 passing yards, Dak Prescott over 7.5 rushing yards, and the first half total under 24.5 points. That is plus 409 right now on the DraftKings, on the FanDuel Sportsbook. DraftKings will be priced differently. Let's add another leg to give this the long shot appeal. Now we're not doing touchdown scorers. Forget that nonsense.
No.
We're not doing that. What do you think about what do you think about going under? Because we love unders. Okay. Actually, no, because I do want
Why
to
don't we
build the
just
negative
go
core.
under on Dak? Period. His passing yards, bro.
Well, no, I want to jack up the payout, so I want a negative correlation. So what I
Okay.
was actually thinking of is we go over because we're going under on Jalen Hurts' passing yards. Let's
Yeah,
go over on Saquon Barkley receiving yards.
I like that. I
It's
like that a lot.
13 and a half yards. He
Yeah,
catches one screen pass, whatever,
yeah,
and it's not going to crush us with the Jalen Hurts under. He could get
no,
25 receiving yards. It's not going to crush our Jalen
yes,
Hurts under.
no.
We now
And
go
they
from
might be
plus
taking away
409.
like Eberflus loves to drop back in soft
Yep.
zone and take away the deep ball, and he's going to be giving you the dink and dunks all night. Here's another one that you could go. What is the Dallas Goddard receptions prop to the over? That's another one that could be
Okay.
really intriguing.
I'll give you the payout on both. So if we take our base parlay and we add the Saquon over 13 and a half receiving yards, we go from plus 409 to plus 949.
Not bad.
Now, instead of the Barkley, if we do Dallas Goddard over 3.5 receptions, we go to plus 993. So a little
So
bit
it's
more of
kind of
a
the
payout.
same. A little,
A
but
little
it's
bit
pretty
more
much
though
the
for Goddard.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms of I'm actually surprised that the yards didn't give us more of a negative correlation.
Hmm.
Um, because of that, I would say go receptions. Because
Okay.
4 receptions for Goddard could literally be like 15 yards.
Yeah.
Whereas Saquon could break one for 40 if he's a big part of the
Yeah.
passing game, and
Sure.
we're screwed. Honestly, that's the part of the Jalen Hurts passing under that scares me the most. It's not getting beat by Devontae Smith or AJ Brown over the top. I think Eberflus is going to take all that away. It's Saquon catching a dump off behind the line of
Yeah.
scrimmage and jumping over 8 guys and going for 60. That's what scares me. Um, they got to tackle their ass off because that dude is coming. Now, I don't think he's going to have as good of a year over the long haul, but in a one
Hmm.
game roll of the dice, that dude can take a screen pass and rip the one, explosive easily.
All right, so this is our then building the same game parlay. Our base, as I mentioned, Jalen Hurts under 212 and a half passing yards, Dak Prescott over 7.5 rushing yards, and the first half under 24 and a half at plus 409. We add Dallas Goddard over 3.5 receptions. We are now at plus 993. That is option number 2 for a same game parlay. And the final option, as we put one final leg in this, to jack up the payout as much as possible. How about Cowboys plus 8.5?
Yeah. That's going to be really good for actually no, cuz you're on Jalen's under. I would
Yeah, it makes
say
it plus 1752.
do we what would it do if we bought the Eagles through 7 to 6.5?
Okay, so Eagles minus 6.5
Because you're betting an
makes
under
the
on Jalen
parlay.
Hurts
It's the
prop.
same thing. Plus 1770.
Hmm. I mean, I'll
It's
let you
fun.
decide that. I think both are fine. Like it's the
Yeah,
same. Like Jalen Hurts going under his passing yards prop does not change my opinion on the Eagles winning the game. I think they're gonna bully ball the hell out of this one. I just don't
I
know
have
if
a okay.
the
I
back
have a
door might be
better
open for Dallas.
yeah. I have a better option here. Okay. Let's see if they let us do this. Bang, they do. This is amazing. All right. Final leg of the parlay to make it plus 2208.
Wow.
Plus 20. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
Oh,
I'm asking you, like Taylor
I'm
Swift. Are you ready for it?
born ready, baby. Let's go.
Second half over 23 and a half.
Oh yeah, that'll change everything. Absolutely. Yeah,
So we
that's
go
that's better.
bang.
That's better than any of the spreads. I think the
Yes.
spread's a coin flip. I honestly do. I think it's priced right. I think the Eagles. I made the game 7.5, so I'm not gonna go nuts on an 8 or even a
hmm
7. Um, so I think it's priced right. I do.
All right. So here is our 4 same game parlays. The base under 24 and a half first half. Jalen Hurts under 212 and a half passing yards. Dak Prescott over 7.5 rushing yards. That is plus 409. Second level would be taking those 3 and adding Dallas Goddard over 3.5 receptions. Jacks up the payout to plus 993. And the final long shot bomb, we add the second half over 23.5. We get it to plus 2208. Our same game parlays, courtesy of the FanDuel Sportsbook. For Thursday Night Football tonight, between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Any final thoughts on this game, Jared?
Enjoy. Don't go crazy. It's a long season.
Absolutely. Let's get to some Major League Baseball, shall we?
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Major League Baseball, what a roller coaster we went on with last night's best bet, which was the Toronto Blue Jays laying a half a run in the first 5 innings. Shane Bieber on the mound for the Blue Jays, and Zach Littell, our fade, on the mound for the Reds. Now, the handicap here was to me, spot on. We were fading Zach Littell and his underlying metrics. The guy was completely due for negative regression, and we wanted to capitalize it, much like we've been the past couple of starts. And the Blue Jays did their part, scoring 5 runs off of Zach Littell in the first 5 innings. The problem was Shane Bieber gave up 5 runs in the bottom of the second inning. I thought this was a loss, Jared. We were down 5-0. Blue Jays were down 5-0 in the second inning.
Wow.
But then they clawed all the way back. They hit a bunch of home runs, but they were all solo home runs. But then the biggest solo home run of them all, after the Blue Jays tied it with a 2-run home run in the top of the 5th to make it 5-5, Vladdy hits a solo home run to make it 6-5 Jays in the 5th inning, and we cash our first 5 bet. And I tweeted this out yesterday that sports betting's a grind. You're gonna have, for every bad beat that you suffer, you're gonna get lucky wins. But you just got to trust your handicaps, because if you trust your process and your handicaps, you're going to come out ahead most times. The handicap for me was sound. It was on Zach Littell. Like, was I unlucky that Shane Bieber gave up 5 runs in the second inning? Yes, that's going to happen. And you know what? If I lost this first 5 bet because it was 5-5 and I laid the half a run, I accept that, because in my mind, my handicap was correct. I expected the Blue Jays to score off of Zach Littell. I just didn't expect Bieber to get rocked in the second inning, which, by the way, after that second inning, he didn't allow another run for the rest of the game. So he was absolutely locked in. But we got lucky, and we're not going to apologize for getting lucky, just because, just like I said, you're going to have bad beats, you're going to have lucky wins. That's the roller coaster of sports betting. You just got to trust your process and continue to deal with it.
Absolutely. And that's especially with baseball. You'll drive yourself nuts because it's
Yep.
every freaking day. You
Mhm.
just have to erase. What did Ted Lasso say? Be a goldfish. Didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Next day.
Exactly. Didn't happen. What has happened, though, is our picks are just on fire right now up
Yeah.
on Better Day. Like, we are absolutely crushing it. I tweeted this out as well last night. Since we launched on August 18th, we are 41-21 in our
Wow.
picks, and that's across baseball and college football. We are 41-21 with our picks, and we're up over 14 units. Now, every
Fantastic.
play is 1 unit. Okay. I am not the type of person that's going to manage your bankroll for you. You manage your own bankroll. If you risk more or less than what I put on the website, then that's fine. But I base everything off a $100 unit. Now, what I pride myself on at Better Day here is we do not say that a certain play is more valuable than another play. There's no such thing as a game of the month, game of the year, game of the
Yeah.
century. And also, there's no 10-unit banger. Like, we're not the type of people that are going to say, yeah, we went 0-5, but then we won our 10-unit banger,
Yeah.
so we're up. No. No, you're 1-5, bro. Like, no, just because you hit your 10-unit banger doesn't mean you make up for the 5 losses that you had. Every play is graded the same off of a $100 1-unit scale, and we advise you, manage your bankroll properly. Only bet what you can afford, right? And monitor the bet sizing. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all onto you. I'm not going to control your money. We are going to give you the information. We're going to give you our recommendations, and it's up to you to do what you wish with that. Does that sound fair, Jared?
Well, that's the difference between a pick service and a content provider. Again,
Yep.
we are entertaining you. We're informing you. We're not your accountant. You can hire someone to do that, and there are certain pick services that do that, and that's fine. You get what you pay for. If that's what you want, there are places out there that will do that. I think the content space has really changed in this regard, where I do
Mhm.
think a lot of the old school traditional people who sell picks do manage the bankroll. I think, to me, that is a way of the past for 2 reasons. A, there are so many different sports books. Everyone's getting a different price. You might even get a better
Yep.
price than what a lot of people are giving out. So it's just like, for example, if I had access to certain shops in other states, I might be betting twice as much on certain
100%.
things than I bet
100%.
here in Nevada when we are
Yep.
limited to the Nevada books. If you have access to offshores, PPHs, you're getting different prices where you can maybe take more advantage of errors in the market. To me, that's just individual. Like, every person has their own individual situation. When you are doing something like this, where you're consistently giving out plays every night based off of market dynamics, based off of our content, you just give people the information and you make it as simple and
Yep.
as uniform as possible. And then you allow them to make their own personal bankroll decisions. I think it's a big problem we have in our space, where people will say this is worth 5 times as much. Why? Unless you're like an actuary and you can, like our pal Steve Fezzik, who really can dive into how much something is really an edge.
Yeah.
Just make everything a flat unit and make yourself, easier. For example, I wear a t-shirt and a backwards hat every day because I don't want to worry about my style. I don't want to worry about what I have to wear. So I wear the same thing every day. And that's just easy for me.
Well, it brings out your eyes, man. I mean, that
Thank
color
you.
just looks
I
great on you.
appreciate
It's
that.
it's
I
it's just
appreciate
popping right
that.
now. It's popping off the screen. Highly recommend you guys go to follow Better Day on YouTube because we're posting videos, so you can see that the green just pop off the screen there for Jared. But yeah, that's the way I do it up on the website. You go to betterday.com, you go to the picks page, you will see every pick is graded off a $100 scale. So when I say we're up over 14 units, that's where we are. Every pick is graded to win $100, or so if we're laying the juice, if it's minus 130, we're risking 130 to win 100. If it's a plus money, we're risking 100 to win more than the units. It's the easiest grading scale possible, and it makes it as transparent and as easy to digest for you, the viewers and the listeners and the audience. So again, go to betterday.com. Since we launched on August 18th, 41-21. And we are up over 14 units. So let's keep riding here. Let's take a look at the Major League Baseball schedule for today. We have one day game. It's actually a late afternoon game. Phillies at the Brewers. Ranger Suarez on the mound for the Phillies. Freddie Peralta goes for the Brewers. Milwaukee is a minus 130 favorite in this one. Dodgers are at the Pirates with Blake Snell on the mound for LA. Paul Skeens goes for the Pirates. Jared, is this a
Mm,
nerfie?
I don't know. Let's take a look and see what who's pitching on the other side here. I didn't even look at this game.
Blake
Um,
Snell and Paul Skeens.
I know. Let me just see. Let me do a refresh on my nerfy numbers here and see what kind of vibes we got.
On the
Um,
surface, it would feel like a nerfie.
yeah, it definitely does. I mean, Skeens has been obviously fantastic. Snell's the one
Yeah.
that I haven't watched him pitch a whole lot. Um, yeah, not bad. 81% since the start of last year. That's above average.
Ooh,
The
it's
question
it's
is, what's the
minus
price? Because you're
minus
facing Otani in the
165.
first inning, which is always scary.
Minus 165.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
It's too much.
don't get me wrong, it's worthy of of Skeens being the man, but all it takes is one Otani shot.
Yeah.
So my basic strategy with Nerfies is if there's an elite home run hitter in the lineup, it really downgrades it considerably.
Hmm.
Even if it is an elite pitcher, because the one thing you cannot come back from in this market is a home run. It is the only fatal blow. You can come back from a single, you can come back from a double. I've even come back from triples before. You can't come back from a home run. So the most elite of the elite home run hitters, you have to grade those guys on a curve, even if you are facing Paul Skeens.
I have a fun bet. Up on FanDuel right now, you can bet first inning hits
Hmm.
at even money, 2+ hits in the first inning. 2+
Interesting.
hits in the first inning.
Snell's just so wild though, too. I'll be honest. I think this one's a stay away. I think this one's a
I
stay
think
away.
so as well. I think so as well. It's
Minus
enticing because you got these
160 with
pitchers.
that Dodgers offense is
I know. I
scary
know.
hours.
One Skeens fastball and you're right, it's gone. Like it's just Otani could blast it out and you're done.
Although to be fair,
Freeman.
Skeens is 45-6 to the Nerfy in his career.
Yeah.
It's obscene. It's obscene how good he is in this market. The funny thing is, I remember vividly. I was on one of his losses. I was on it. I remember he gave up a home run, I think to like the first batter of the game last
Mm.
year, and I remember I was on the Nerfy that day, and I was so pissed off.
That's always fun. All
Yeah.
right, let's move on. Guardians are at the Rays. Logan Allen goes for the Guardians. Ryan Pepio for Tampa. Angels at the Royals. Kyle Hendricks for the Angels. And Noah Cameron goes for Kansas City. Kansas City's minus 160, and they are creeping into this thing. Looking at the wild card standings right now in the American League, Kansas just 2.5 games back of the Mariners for that third wild card. They have lost 3 games in a row. And still, because the Mariners have dropped 3 in a row, they are still only 2.5 games back. They need a win here in the worst way, and likely to get it tonight with Noah Cameron on the mound against Kyle Hendricks. I would lean towards the Royals here. 160 might be a little too pricey for me, but I love this kid Cameron on the mound for them. And in a postseason push, I think that's the side that I kind of want to be on. But I'll monitor this spread as we progress throughout the day. White Sox are at the Twins. You got Taj Bradley, who's the ultimate fade here, on the mound for the Twins. And Shane Smith goes for the White Sox. Now, we saw Taj Bradley. I think you and I were doing the pod. And I talked about, hey, Taj Bradley's starting against the White Sox here. And the last time he was on a Major League mound was pitching for Tampa against the White Sox when they rocked him for 4 runs in an inning. And then he got sent down to the minors. Then he got traded. He made his first start with the Twins against the White Sox. They tagged him for 7 runs on 9 hits in 5 innings. Then he pitched against San Diego his last time out. 5 innings, only 1 run allowed. But now he faces the White Sox again. Do we think the White Sox have his number?
Maybe. I don't know. It's tough with these teams late in the year how much motivation they really have. If they are up for this, that's the part about betting baseball sides in September with teams that are 20, 30, 40 games under 500. It's just, it feels like on any given day, you just have no idea what you're going to get. But yeah, I agree. Bradley is a fade.
White Sox have won 4 straight now, and they are looking for the sweep of the Twins. I
The
lost that
avoiding
bet.
of the home sweep has been a good trend too to bet on. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at the
The White
numbers. It
Sox
was
scored
probable.
3 in the 9th tonight or last night to win. They won 4 runs off 6 hits, 3 runs off 11 hits. I think Minnesota wins this game. That would be my vote.
Okay. Finally, Yankees are at the Astros.
I am shooting in the dark here, Scott. I have not watched much.
There's no
White
official
Sox
play. There's no official play.
Yeah.
No, our official plays are on the NFL tonight. The Yankees are at the Astros. Carlos Rodon on the mound for the Yankees. They're minus 145. Christian Javier goes for the Astros. The Astros did beat the Yankees last night 8-7, avenging the 7-1 loss to the Yankees in the first game of this series. So the two teams split the first 2 games. I thought the umpire last night was terrible. Aaron Boone got ejected again. That dude loves getting thrown out of games, I'll tell you that much. I think it's an interesting game for the Yankees because they start a series with the Blue Jays coming up tomorrow. So, pick up a big win here against the Astros and then get ready for, your series here against the Toronto Blue Jays. I would back Rodon. I like the way he's been pitching. I really do. Last time out, 6 innings, only 1 run allowed against Chicago. Before that, 2 runs allowed against the Red Sox in 5 2/3. Prior to that, 2 runs in 6 innings against Tampa, 1 run in 7 innings against Minnesota. The guy's on a good run right now. And Carlos Rodon's the type of head case that you want to back him when he's feeling right, and you want to fade him when he's in the middle of it, because he really is a streaky head case type of pitcher. So I might be on the Yankees. Maybe a Yankees first 5 here. Is the way I might look to go. I mean, the Yankee offense has just been tremendous. I mean, they are not slowing down. Even in the loss last night, still scored a boatload of runs here. Stanton's hitting home runs. Like, the Yankee offense is really, they scored 7 runs and they lost. The Yankee offense is just fine. So if Rodon can pitch the way he's been pitching over the past several games, he gets backed up by this Yankee offense. I think that the Yankees pull away with a win here over Christian Javier and the Houston Astros. All right, that'll wrap up this episode. I want to remind you guys that the NFL predictions article is out right now. You should have gotten it in your email last night. Same email that you get the Better Day newsletter on. So check your email for that, the NFL predictions article. And if you don't want to read it on your email, obviously just go to betterday.com. It is free for all members there. Just go to the research and analysis tab. The official NFL predictions article is up. I gave you the picks for every single division winner, as well as my 3 wild cards in each conference, my championship games, and my official Super Bowl pick, all with the current market odds listed. And as always, shop around for the best odds that you can find if you want to place a bet on all of these. We have the first game of the NFL season coming up here tonight. Tomorrow will be a massive Football Friday episode. In fact, it might be our first 3-man episode here on the pod, because we have college football to discuss. We have NFL to discuss. Best bets galore coming up on tomorrow's episode. Follow Jared Smith on social media at Jared Smith Bets. You can follow me at Scott's On Air. And here's hoping you make today the first day of the NFL season and every day a better day.